Greetings everyone, this is David. Today's video is going to be about Apophatic and Cataphatic Theology in Orthodox Christianity. The aim of this video is going to be a very simple, short, and basic explanation of these concepts because I believe there's a lot of confusion. And before I start, I just want to kind of give a public service announcement. If you like my videos, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell because sometimes YouTube doesn't tell you when I upload a video and all of that kind of stuff. And finally, if you want to support my channel financially, you can check the Patreon link in the description below. Having said all of that, we can now begin with this video. Apophatic theology is ultimately about the impossibility of being able to speak or have knowledge about God in his essence. Another meaning of apophatic theology is that it's about speaking about God via negative expression. So an example of this will be immateriality. Immateriality just means not material or simple. When we speak of God being simple, it just means he is not composite. He's not made of parts. But a key point to remember is that even negative expressions themselves, in a sense, don't fully speak about God. So an example I'm going to give is that when we say God is immaterial, we also say that angels and souls are immaterial also. But their immateriality is not the same because God is beyond materiality. So that is how he is immaterial. This is why saying that God is immaterial only just gives us an idea of God's immateriality. So a couple of questions must be asked about apophatic theology. Namely, is it fundamentally contradictory with cataphatic theology, which is about making positive affirmations about God? Do these two concepts contradict each other? I think the main way to explain this kind of dilemma is to say, for example, again, if you appreciate apophatic theology, which most people nowadays do, most Christians nowadays do, then what about, sentences where we say God exists, right? Think of it that way. I mean, saying that God exists, that's a positive affirmation, right? But God in his essence, according to apophatic theology, is beyond existence. So how do we reconcile this? The way we can reconcile it is by affirming that while God is transcendent, he is also imminent, which means that we can make positive affirmations about God. But how? Because we can't make positive affirmations about essence. That's the whole point of apophatic theology. So if you're going to be making positive affirmations, then we need to be making those statements to a different category that still applies to God. St. Basil the Great's answer to this dilemma in letter 234, which is against eunomianism, in a very simple way. You don't have to read the entire text here, but for those who are interested, it's here, right? A very simple answer to this question by St. Basil is we cannot speak of God's essence, but when we speak of knowing God, we speak of his energies. So we know God in his energies. St. John Damascus says the very same thing as well. So the question then becomes, what is energy in the first place? Now, I have a video precisely for that topic, basic introduction to essence energies distinction. You can go check that out. But if you want a basic definition, a somewhat basic definition from St. John Damascus, then we can say natural energy is the activity innate in every essence. And energy is the natural force and activity of each essence. He also says natural energy, again, is the force in each essence by which its nature is made manifest. So even in this definition by St. John, energy is what is, first of all, it's the inner movement, the inner activity that is innate in every essence, including the divine essence. And it manifests the nature in some capacity, right? Which, again, fits with St. Basil's understanding of how energies manifest the knowledge of God in us in that sense, right? So we have knowledge of God in his energies. St. Dionysius the Areopagite's principle of the divine names is also very important because St. Dionysius' argument is that God is beyond all names. He is nameless in his essence, but in his energies he possesses all names because he is perfect. So that is also another important point to make. This is a point made by St. Mark of Ephesus in his first antiretic against Manuel Calicas. The text itself is not translated to English, but the notes are in English for some weird reason. But anyways, Saint John Damascus, and this is a point I talked about with Dr. Bo Branson in our stream where we refute the logical problem of the Trinity. Even the name God, the divine name God, refers to an energy, right? As Saint Gregory of Nyssa says in On Not Three Gods, he argues that divinity is an energy that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit possesses in a inseparable manner. And this is precisely why they're one God. They're not three gods because they do not have three distinct divinities or divine energies. They're one God, right? Because they have the same divine energies. And finally, St. Maximus the Confessor says, existence, life, holiness, and virtue are works of God. Now, as I talk about this in Essence Energy's distinction in the Bible video that I made, which you can also check, the term works in the Greek is a form of the word energy in Greek. So St. Maximus is pretty much saying that existence, life, holiness, and virtue, these are divine energies of God that do not have a beginning in time, because there was never a time when virtue, goodness, holiness, and immortality did not exist. In short, Apophatic theology is about the fact that we cannot positively comprehend God in his essence. He is beyond all comprehension. He transcends existence. He transcends logic because he is the source of these things. But God also has divine energies which proceed from his divine essence. And these divine energies also manifest his essence in a way where we can know God, not in his essence again, but we can make positive affirmations of God. But the energies also allow us to make negative affirmations about God. So for example, immortality is a negative affirmation, but it's still also a divine energy, right? So this is, I will say, a very simple way you can understand cataphatic and apophatic theology in Orthodox Christianity. As said in the beginning of the video, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't, don't forget to ring the bell, and if you got some extra money bags in your pocket, make sure to consider at the very least joining my Patreon. And I want to give a shout out to all of my patrons here, as I promised them. Thank you to Tim, Brian with a Y, Brian with an I, Marco, Diet Solarlight, Allison, Eddie, Father Justin, Node, Maximus, Mitch, Jonathan, Vlad, Kerry, Ignatius, Mike, Jack, Nectarius, Flooded Basement, Dave, Seraphim, and Norbert. Thank you all for supporting me, and thank you all for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, and may God be with you all.